Well, believe it or not, I am doing a second breaking news video today. Just know that I am so sorry for spamming your subscription feed. I try not to abuse the subscription box, but this is really important. I think that I couldn't just leave it where we were earlier this day. We have an important update that I wanted to talk about. So Donald Trump has called off his threat of genocide in Iran, or I should say he hasn't called it off per se. He postponed it by 2 weeks, and he put out this really long, meandering tweet on Truth Social where it seems like he's laying out the framework of what appears to be a potential ceasefire. I don't know, let's read it and then we'll parse it out together. So he writes, based on conversations with Prime Minister Shehbaz Sharif and Field Marshal Asim Munir of Pakistan, and wherein they requested that I hold off the destructive force being sent tonight to Iran and subject to the Islamic Republic of Iran agreeing to the complete, immediate, and safe opening of the Strait of Hormuz, I agree to suspend the bombing and attack of Iran for a period of 2 weeks. This will be a double-sided ceasefire. The reason for doing so is that we have already met and exceeded all military objectives and are very far along with the definitive agreement concerning long-term peace with Iran and peace in the Middle East. We received a 10-point proposal from Iran and believe it is a workable basis on which to negotiate. Almost all of the various points of past contention have been agreed to between the United States and Iran, but a 2-week period will allow the agreement to be finalized and consummated. On behalf of the United States of America as president and also representing the countries of the Middle East, it is an honor to have this long-term problem close to resolution. Thank you for your attention to this matter. So there's a lot to digest here, but I'm not going to bury the lead, and I'll just say I am thankful that he chose to not follow through with his insane, unhinged threat, because him not killing an entire civilization of people is objectively good. With that being said, I hope nobody applauds him for this, even though Republicans will. I hope nobody's like, hey, good job. You chose to not press the big red button, because he still crossed the line regardless of the outcome. He still crossed the fucking line by threatening to basically nuke Iran. I mean, it really feels like what he said there was a threat of nuclear annihilation, because when you attack their desalination plants, their fossil fuel facilities and whatnot, that's war crimes, yes, but like it's more of a slow death. If you're saying they're going to die tonight, that to me says you're going for something much bigger, like nuclear annihilation. So I feel like regardless of what ultimately comes of this, maybe he was using it as a negotiating tactic, maybe it was market manipulation. I don't care. He has to be removed. It is not acceptable for the president of the United States to threaten genocide, to just publicly say an entire civilization is going to die tonight. It's not acceptable for America, and the international community should not accept this. They need to punish the United States for what they did. They could use the carrot, they could use the stick, they could scold Donald Trump, they could threaten sanctions or boycotts. Either way, action needs to be taken, because if you allow a madman to do this, then you are setting a very dangerous precedent, because maybe he backed away right now. It's Taco Tuesday. He chickened out. Good. I'm glad that he did. But what happens next time? Or the time after that? There's going to come a time where he does something that is unspeakable. And I'm saying that as if he hasn't already committed war crimes. He bombed a fucking school. Israel bombed a synagogue. I mean, so the things that we're talking about, it's orders of magnitude worse than what we've already seen, and it's just not fucking acceptable. I'm sorry, you can't just move on after the president threatened genocide of 90 million people. You can't just move on from that. Action needs to be taken. I'm pleased to say that now more than 70 Democrats have gotten on board with the idea of removing Donald Trump. They've called for his removal via the 25th or impeachment. Make it happen. We have 2 weeks now. The international community, Democrats, and Republicans, all of the 3 sane Republicans still in existence, they have a couple of weeks, at least according to Donald Trump's timeline, to get their shit together and remove this maniac from office. Now, in terms of what this tweet actually means, if I can get in Donald Trump's head, and also assuming that he, doesn't change his mind because he oscillates back and forth between wiping them out and getting a ceasefire like multiple times per day. So who knows if this is going to last longer than 10 fucking minutes at this point. But based on what this looks to be, it seems as if he wants to use this to get a ceasefire. 2-week ceasefire, and then potentially lead to a permanent ceasefire. Now, I'm optimistic because I can't not be. Just for my own mental health, I have to force myself to be, optimistic and accept the cognitive dissonance. But there's something about this to me that seems that's leading to my cynicism. And it all comes down to his little line about agreeing to Iran's 10-point plan, because it is inconceivable to me that he would ever agree to something like this, because it would be a total humiliating loss for the United States. Now, this is courtesy of Dropsite News. I'm going to share the 10-point plan that Trump has apparently agreed to. So based on Iran's Supreme National Security Council, they claim that the United States has, quote, fundamentally committed to the following: guaranteeing non-aggression against Iran, continued Iranian control over the Strait of Hormuz, accepting Iranian uranium enrichment, lifting all primary and secondary sanctions, that's another victory for them, ending all UN Security Council and IAEA Board of Governors resolutions, paying war reparations to Iran, withdrawing all U.S. combat forces from the region, halting the war on all resistance fronts, including against the heroic Islamic resistance of Lebanon, Hezbollah. So this is the framework that Trump and Iran are saying that Trump agreed to. I just find that very hard to believe. Trump is going to pay Iran reparations. Trump is going to allow them to permanently control the Strait of Hormuz. I think that anything short of the pre-war status quo is going to be a non-starter for Donald Trump. Otherwise, it is going to be a humiliating defeat overall. So to me, I can't not feel like this is him trying to buy time and, stock up more, refuel, make sure that the depleted interceptor missiles are back. They produce more. Make sure that Israel has more missiles for their Iron Dome system. I just feel like this is something that he would never, ever agree to. Maybe he's so desperate to end the war that he's just going to accept this. And then Lyon said that he won. It was a complete humiliation for Iran. I don't necessarily know. That's also something that Trump would do. But I mean, if this is actually something he is agreeing to, this is a complete and total victory for Iran, not the United States. So it's hard for me to think that he would accept this, and I can't not see this as another ploy by Donald Trump to do something more nefarious, because again, time after time, they have tried to do negotiations with the United States, and what happens? The United States and Israel kill their leaders when they negotiate. So how is this not just like a modified version of that same tactic? It seems completely inconceivable to me that he would accept this, but I mean, I guess we'll find out for sure whether or not he is going to accept this. But, I have a little bit of a sick feeling just because it's hard to trust the guy who just threatened to, kill an entire civilization. It's hard to believe that he would be open to something like this that makes him look like a complete fucking pussy, to be frank. I mean, I don't know. Again, he could be lying. He's gonna, in the sense that he's gonna lie and say that he got everything that he wanted and whatnot, and they control he controls the Strait of Hormuz. But I don't know. My bullshit detector is going off right now, and I hope that my cynicism is incorrect. But again, it's Donald Trump. You can't trust the motherfucker. He is unhinged. So regardless, it's good news, objectively speaking, that Iran is not going to have their civilization die tonight. That's wonderful. But I don't want people to just move on. You can't just move on after a president makes a threat like this. There needs to be accountability. Actions have consequences. And if Trump can get away with threatening to wipe out an entire country, kill a civilization, then he truly is able to do whatever the fuck he wants. So I don't necessarily know what Democrats are going to ultimately do. If I had to guess, I'd say nothing. But if we don't remove this man, if there isn't an international effort to rein in the United States, then I genuinely fear for what is to come. I fear for not just what he's going to do to Iran, but the rest of the world and also the United States. I don't think that we can go back to normal after the president made this vocal threat. It appears that it was just a negotiating tactic. He was bluffing to get Iran to agree to a framework, even though he seemed to agree to their framework. Nonetheless, you can't just return to normal after this. You can't let the president do this. There needs to be accountability. Remove his bitch ass right now from office. I don't care who you replace him with. Replace him with J.D. Vance. Anything. You can't have a president threatening genocide on the timeline. Like, you can't go back to normal after that. Action needs to be taken. 25th Amendment, impeachment, I don't care. If Democrats don't have the numbers, make it their number one priority in November and run on that. And listen, 70 Democrats now, 70 plus, support removing him. It's time for leadership to get on board. And if they don't get on board, then the 70 Democrats who are calling for his removal need to remove leadership. Because if you want him removed, but you are not getting rid of the obstacles that is leadership, that is stopping progress, then you're also complicit. You're as bad as leadership if you're allowing this feckless, dickless leadership to remain in power. So you can't just move on. I sound like a broken record, but I really want to emphasize here, we can't just be like, oh, okay, great, he didn't murder everyone in Iran. Okay, let's go get coffee now and go back to normal. No. That ship has sailed. He is on a new level of derangement, and if he is not reined in, he is going to get lots and lots and lots of people killed.